Good morning, everyone. My name is Pasha McGregor, and I am the facilitator for the service today for Sunday, November 8th. We have Barbara Leger as our speaker and Uma Ojeda as our music minister. Uma, will you get us started with a song?
You betcha. I know a lot of our attendees like Keb Mo, so I've chosen this one since it's been a little while since I've played it. Let's go drifting through the trees. Let's go sailing on the sea. Let's go dancing on the juke joint floor and leave our troubles all behind and have a party. So easily forgotten, the most important things, like the melody of the moonlight in your eyes, and a song that lasts forever, keeps on getting better all the time. Life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night, somewhere in the world, sun is shining bright. I get crazy, so afraid that I might lose it one fine day, and I'll be nothing but a silly woman, and I don't wanna be without you at the party. So easily forgotten, the most important thing is that I love you. I do wanna spend my days and nights walking through this crazy world with you. Life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above is shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night, somewhere in the world, sun is shining bright. So easily forgotten, the most important thing is that I love you. I do wanna spend my days and nights walking through this crazy world with you. Why? Life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night, somewhere in the world, sun is shining bright.
Thank you, Uma. That was wonderful. So I just did a gallery view for a moment so that those of you attending by way of YouTube could see the three of us are in different places, but we're, through the miracle of Zoom, we are united to create this service for you. Barbara's in California, in Redding, right? And Uma and I are both in Kona, but in different parts of Kona and not actually at the center where we normally would be having our service. But anyway, I am going to invite Barbara to do the opening prayer now.
Thank you. Thank you, Pasha. Well, that was a very uplifting song, and life is indeed beautiful and wondrous. And so let's just take a deep breath and feel that message, that no matter what's going on. Above the clouds, the sun is always shining. And so I know that the infinite presence, this thing called life, this power, this presence, this consciousness, this unity of being, this pattern that connects us all, it's something that runs through us. It's in every cell, it's in every atom, every nanosecond of thought. It's everywhere. And in fact, all that is in the planet is this infinite presence in a form that was created with the power of creation that starts with an idea, starts with a possibility, starts with a spark of something, and it grows. And so I know that this idea that life is beautiful has been planted and lived and felt and yearned for throughout the entire experience of humanity. And I know that this planet of ours is such a blessed element. It's a being inside of this cosmos that is part of that infinite presence. And so I know that we live on this pale blue dot, and we all breathe the same air and drink the same water and experience the same things in our own way. And I know that inside of everyone and everything is this power for goodness, this wondrous reality. And so, wonder being one of my favorite words, I give thanks for all the wonder in life, in my life, and in our lives. And I know that that wonder is greater than any worry that we might have. And our work as conscious beings is to shift out of the worry to the wonder. And so I use the principle peace. I invoke it sometimes 500 times a day. And so I claim it for tonight's program, that it merges and is part of all the wondrous, beautiful things that happen in the reading and in the music and in the organization of it, created for you who are here to hear something and feel something brand new tonight, to feel supported at a new level, to be open to something new. So I invite you to imagine that tonight something shifts, something becomes deeper, and you are enriched by the service that Pasha and Uma and I bring to you tonight with our open hearts. So I'm grateful. I give thanks for all that is and all that is becoming as we allow ourselves to cultivate magnificent possibilities in our life. I let it be perfect, because in fact, it already is so. So it is. Amen.
So it is. And you may have noticed, Barbara said this evening, some of you may be actually watching this in the morning, or some of you at noon, because it's your choice when to watch it. Just from force of habit, I'll probably say good morning, because that's when our New Thought services typically have been prior to the pandemic. So I'm going to say that now, so you understand. But you'll see the sun is actually gradually setting, and the light will probably change in the course of our recording session. So once again, I'm Pasha McGregor. We have Uma Ojeda as our musician, and Barbara as our guest speaker. And in case you are not a New Thought regular, I'll give you a little bit of background on our center. Our full name is New Thought Center of Hawaii. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary of aloha for the nourishment, development, and evolution of each individual's unique spiritual path. Our history is that we, this particular group on the west side of Hawaii Island evolved from the Kona Community Church of Religious Science, which was founded in 1971. That was back when there wasn't even one traffic signal in Kona. It was a very small rural community then. And we have held Sunday services continuously from that time. Previously in Keaho since 1999 in Kealakekua. And since April 2020, sometimes in cyberspace.
Hey, Pasha, any way we can alleviate the cat sound, but not really, because it's really a distraction. I'm not sure if you hear that. Is there anywhere to put that cat? No.
I can't restart the whole recording, so I just have to invite our watchers and listeners to appreciate this music of the cat world. She's about to be fed and will probably vocalize less after that. So our connection to the wider world is primarily through the New Thought, International New Thought Alliance, which is an umbrella organization. It brings together groups and individuals who share certain common beliefs and attitudes. Among them, the idea that a new thought embodied in consciousness produces a new condition. Judge Thomas Troward is credited with using new thought in that context for the first time. The INTA also includes many unity and religious science churches, and many religious science churches now call themselves Centers for Spiritual Living. If you want to learn more about it, you can visit our website. So that's a little background. Since we do have our roots in religious science, we typically include a reading from Science of Mind magazine. And I'm going to share that with you now. That's the publication of the Centers for Spiritual Living. This is the current issue. It begins with a quotation from Maya Angelou. The desire to reach for the stars is ambitious. The desire to reach hearts is wise. And from Ernest Holmes, illumination will come as a man more and more realizes his unity with the whole, and as he constantly endeavors to let the truth operate through him. Could be woman as well. And the little essay was written by Jafan Seeley. A few years back, a few friends and I went on a 3-month tour that took us through 9 states, Canada, and Mexico. We were on a mission to spread a message of good, share artistic expressions, and learn from various indigenous and sustainable communities. On one particular day, we sat in the Kikotsmovi village in the center of the Hopi reservation. We already knew a little about the Hopi prophecy, where humans were seduced by greed, worshiped technology, fought and hurt each other, and forgot all about ethical teachings they'd been given to honor the earth and one another. Their prophecy highlights an opportunity for humanity to embrace a great purification, after which the Great Spirit will return, and so too will an abundance of the earth. As we chatted about this revealing prophecy that spoke of the importance of a massive awakening of consciousness, we asked the elder, how can this be done? His words ring true and capture an inner voyage that many never take. He said, what we as humans must do is to take the longest journey of our life It is not traveling around the globe, sitting on the tops of great mountains, or seeking some remote land. It is the journey from our head to our heart. This is the longest journey a human can take, and it is the journey that can bring about peace. With these words, I realized my life is not about intellect, how many books I've read, or what I think I know. It is all about being. No better, no less than anyone, simply being the illumination of the whole and letting truth operate through me. And here's the affirmation for the day. I'll say it in two parts, so if you wish to, you can repeat it after me. I honor and appreciate my being. For everything I am is an illumination of Source. Uma will grace us now with another song.
It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. I woke up in the morning singing a song. Woke up in the morning just singing this song. Gotta write it down before it's gone. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. Dancing to the music all day long. Dancing to the music and singing this song. Been shaking all night long. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. Knowing and feeling this is where I belong. Knowing and feeling this is right where I belong. Find your blessings is my theme song. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. It's all good, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good, it's all God. And I wrote that one. So mostly for New Thought and all of the lovely, lovely places of worship.
I love it. I don't
Thank
think
you,
I've heard
Pasha.
that one before. Uma, wow. Well, now it's my privilege to introduce, formally introduce Barbara. She is an inspired, this is some ways that she describes herself. Inspired, creative, and a student of peace wherever she is. She intends to be happy and healthy to 100 and beyond. In her life, she has been a journalist and editor, a radio and television leader, an author of children's poems and stories. But how we connected with her at New Thought is through her work with Temenos. Temenos is a ministry in the country of Ukraine. Barbara wasn't originally a minister herself, but she went to she enrolled in the Holmes Institute in 1997, graduated in the year 2000, and was ordained a minister in the, well, what used to be the Religious Science Organization and is now mainly called Centers for Spiritual Living. So she's been an ordained minister in that philosophy since 2003. And in 2001, I don't know the full story of how this came about. Perhaps she'll share a little bit with us, but somehow she was motivated to go to Ukraine and start this Temenos Center for Spiritual Living. And it is very dynamic. It is just with her gracious care, it's grown and flourished. So she is still very involved with that. She's the founder and the spiritual leader. And it now, there are over 25 trained practitioners and hundreds of others who have been empowered by the teachings of Science of Mind through this ministry. It's, I think it started, at least it's spread now, but it started in the town of Cherkasy. And I'm sure, you know, she's been working at this diligently all that time. That's like 20 years. But it seems like all of a sudden around 2014, she got discovered. And these honors just kind of came one after another. In 2014, she was named the Meritorious Minister of the Year by the Centers of Spiritual Living. In 2016, she received an honorary Doctor of Divinity. And in 2018, she was the recipient of a New Thought Walden Award. That was the first year they were given, and that's not just from Centers of Spiritual Living. It actually was initiated by a Unity minister, but the Unity minister involved 6 or 7 other organizations connected with New Thought. So it's a really wonderful honor. And well, and so it was for socially conscious leaders who use empowering spiritual ideas and philosophies to change lives and make our planet a better place to live. And to conclude the introduction, Barbara's slogan at this point is amplify the good and make peace with the rest. And with that, Barbara, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Pasha. That's quite a lot to hear about oneself, but I've lived a really interesting life. So, and I love that slogan because it is really a taskmaster. You know, it is, peace is my work, and it probably always was, but it's just become so clarified in my going on 20 years in Ukraine, a country that is still at war, not by its choice, and has been owned and occupied for, 95% of its existence. So Ukraine is a place where there's been a lot of conflict and a lot of challenge, a lot of repression. And out of all that oppression and repression and occupation comes mindsets that are different than the American mindset as it traditionally is considered to be a mindset of freedom and opportunity and possibility. And in Ukraine, this is a learning of that because it's new. And so I have learned so much. I think that's why I'm still there, is because I love learning. And so being in Ukraine, I arrived on September 11th, which was this day. And I knew right away that that meant, that I wasn't going to hide anywhere. I was going to be out in public. And so it hasn't stopped. And I love my work, and it's changed. And I'm in an absolutely new phase there in Ukraine. It's changing there too. So, but what I know is the most important thing that I know right now. Well, there's two most important things. One is that God's all there is. And whatever word you use for God, in Ukraine, we can't be a ministry. I'm not a minister, and we don't pray, and we're not a church, and we don't use any religious words. We're a teaching. We're a metaphysical philosophy. And that's really what Ernest was too. The church was a structure that allowed it to grow. But the philosophy of metaphysics is really where his anchor, his heart, his connection is. And as you said with Troward's quote, about one new thought creates a new condition. And if you want to know what you think, just look at what you're living in. And that's tough medicine sometimes, which is why a lot of people don't like to look, because then you have to face it. So we're living in very interesting times, very challenging times. America's very conflicted and troubled, and yet when you have this philosophy, you know that no matter what it looks like on the outside, what's going on the inside is for the greatest good. And as painful as it is on the outside right now, we must not lose sight of the fact that on the inside, something's efforting to be born. Something's emerging, something is evolving, and it's evolving in our conscious awareness of it in centers like this, the New Thought Center of Hawaii, or Temenos Center in Ukraine, or all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lights around the world that say there's more than what it looks like. And if we want it to change, we must change. And as we change, we contribute that consciousness, that energy into the collective soup, and it shifts. But if we are lazy and we allow ourselves to get caught in the us and them story, in that narrative that there'll always be war, and that there'll always be bullies, and there'll always be pain and suffering, or, that's what I learned, and that's what I am, and that's just the way it is. When we're stuck in that kind of pattern, we're denying the very power and essence that we were born from and for. So it's hard to wake up because it's so comfortable to just do our little thing and stay asleep. I know, because I've tried lots of times to go back to sleep. It would be so much easier than continuing this march forward, or continuing the movement of the wings inside of whatever chrysalis I'm breaking through. One of the things I love about Ukraine is that in a way it's ruthless. It requires you to be self-aware. I've become a lot more willing to be courageous and vulnerable. When I was here, I had a lot more props. I had a lot more justifications. So while it's harder, and it still is harder, to live consciously, it feels better. And I have those moments of delight, and I never wake up unhappy. I wake up happy every day. Because I believe that everything that's going on is this presence of life that expresses itself through its manifest form. One of my favorite Troward's quotes I have on the wall. I read it every day. My mind is a center of divine operation. And divine operation is always for a greater expansion of what has come before. That means the production of something beyond what has come before, but something entirely new, not included in my past experience, but evolving out of it. My mind is a center, and it moves forward to create new realities. My mind is a center of divine operation, expanding and expressing in new ways that nobody can tell me. Nobody can control my mind unless I let them. I get to decide. So my work has become about peace and has become about the empowerment of young people, because we have made a bit of a mess of things, and none of us did it on purpose. And there's no going back to he said, she said, and here's how it all happened. But we got lazy, I think, and we kind of rested on our laurels, I think. And I think we, got caught in the dualistic dance upon which so much of society is nurtured. And in that world, if somebody must win, everybody loses. Because that world is based on superiority and control and hierarchy, and we've lost sight of the equality. Every single person alive has exactly the same amount of spirit, 100%. Every single person, 1%. Not just the ones we like, not just the ones that seem to have reached a pinnacle of something, not just the ones who are able to articulate it or who are educated, but every single one. I have a friend, Nancy Bergman. She's a science mind, religious science minister. She's 80 something. She's amazing. I just love this woman. And she was a Hollywood actress for a lot of her life on screen and in theater. She still goes to audition. She still has an agent. She is hilarious. She is powerful. She is strong. And she wrote a book, which I think everyone should have. And I've done many, many online courses with her book, and I'm getting ready to do another one in January. But at the beginning of her, and I'll tell you how to, if you want to do that with me, but in the beginning of her book, she has these 51 what if questions. I sometimes can't get past those what if questions. They're so juicy, they're so wonderful. But what if everything I do to you, I experience myself? What if it were true that everything I do to you comes back to me? Because I think it does. I don't think we can escape our nature. We're not, Emma Curtis Hopkins had a way to say it, and there's a minister, Noel McGuinness, and he paraphrased it, and he says, you don't get what you pray for, you get what you pray from. In other words, if you want peace, you have to believe in peace. You have to want it. You have to be willing to be peaceful. You have to give yourself to peace. There's a wonderful song, give yourself to love if love is what you're after. Open up the joy to the joy and laughter and the tears and the laughter. We have to give ourselves to experience the things that we are called to love, because that is the gift that we can use to reveal that gift in form. We call that healing, but there really isn't anything to heal. There's just to reveal that which already is us. And that sounds so like jargon, but honestly, if we are born from the thing itself for its manifestation, then what are we? You know, we're not chopped liver. We're the place where the infinite, the point, you know, if you see that infinity symbol, you know, it keeps going through this point in the middle where heaven and earth meet right there. That's us. That's the tree. That's the dog, the little bird who knows me. My dog who forgave me today after I had to slam on the brakes and she fell and hit her head. I felt so terrible. It's the connection that we have with all of these things. That is heaven coming to earth. And that's how it's meant to be. And it takes such practice because we're all so human. You know, we all have such frailties. And Plato said, we're all fighting our own big battles. And I know that in this time, the whole planet has been united in a way that has never happened before. And it took something as deadly as coronavirus to get us to see that we're all connected. We all care about the same things. That our hearts all hurt at the same things and rejoice at the same breakthroughs. What if we could remember that? So I have a sentence that I want to just give you, and I use it in my daily practice, and I use it in my teaching, and I'm going to tell you about something that's really exciting me that I'm doing right now in Ukraine with children. And every day I'm teaching them to ask this question. And the question, I started and you finish it. And so it's like this. And you can use it in different themes. Like if this week, it's Kindness Week in Ukraine. It's our project and we're in Kindness Week. So imagine the wonder of waking up and then you finish the question. Imagine the wonder of waking up and knowing that I'm really a kind person after all. Or imagine the wonder of waking up and knowing I could do anything I wanted today. Or imagine the wonder of waking up and knowing that I am surrounded by kind people. And if I need something, I can ask. Just imagine the wonder of waking up and having the wonder of it all. Just seeing the wonder of it all. Imagine that. Oy vey, that is something. So, that question it speaks to the value of the two things that are most important to me. One is Giati, G-I-A-T-I. God is all there is. It's a little code word. You can use it in public. God is all there is. Giati, Giati. How are you doing? Giati. You can even put it on your letters and still have nobody nervous about you're too religious or something. So that's the foundation for me. That's the base, is that God is all there is. And out of that God are these principles that have been throughout all the world religions, philosophies, and teachings, whether you're talking about shamanism or Buddhism or anything, Catholicism. I was a Catholic, I was a Protestant, I was a Buddhist, now I'm God's. I don't know. I am a minister, but I'm not religious. But I know that God is all there is. I know that the life force is all there is. I know that consciousness is all there is. I know that through me, this God, this life force, this consciousness can express, and that through me, it does express, and that I am always creating, and I get the results of my creation. I don't get what I want, I get what I am. That's tough medicine. When you have to look at, like today, I had a cranky day today. I had a hard day today. I had a painful beginning today. And it triggered me into a place that I hadn't felt in a long time. And I was cranky. And I did my practice and I didn't really feel it, and I didn't really have time to do it. But finally, I couldn't avoid myself. It was so evident. And I just had to look at you. What? Is that who you want to be? No. What do you want? I choose peace. I choose peace. And so that's what I do with this thing itself, this infinite, unlimited potential, as Deepak Chopra would call it, the field of pure possibility. Out of that, there's so many principles that are the foundation of it. And out of that, I've chosen peace. Because what I realized is that when I'm conflicted here, it's because I'm not in peace here. And there is no way I can be compassionate to the people that upset me this morning when I'm doing any judging or feeling betrayed or feeling not appreciated or whatever it is. I have to make peace with that before I can go back into it. I have to amplify the good. The good is I can see it. The good is I can feel. The good is I know there's something greater. The good is I have the courage to do this work. The good is I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. Okay, then let's do the work. And it's taken me years to get to even begin to want to be like this, but if I can do it, oh my God, anybody can do it, because I can't even say recovering. So I'm learning. I call myself a student of life. So we've got about 8 minutes left. So I want to give you the essence of this practice that really helps me shift out of that little brain, that little self that allows myself to be emotionally upset longer than, there's nothing wrong with letting your emotions be upset, as long as you notice them before you make a fool of yourself or do something. That's what they're there for. They're there to show you that there's work to be done. So I sent along to Pasha a form that I use, that I practice Peace First with now. And Science of Mind has a class called Visioning. I don't know if your community has ever done any visioning, but Michael Beckwith, you may have heard of Michael Beckwith. He founded Agape, and he is part of AG&T, and he was one of my teachers and as a colleague. And Michael discovered that you can access this thing itself through a meditative process of surrender and willingness in combination. And so I've created this little form here. And let's see, is this in English? Yes, good. So, so here's how I use this form. This infinite presence is the foundation of my life. And there are principles there that are the same. Principles are things that work no matter who uses them. They work for me, you, whether you're old or thin or rich or skinny or angry or not, or wherever you live. They're principles. They work when you work them. And so there are many principles: love, light, life, abundance, the power of your word, things like that. And peace is a principle. And to me, it's the most critical principle because it allows me to shift out of my little self to my big self, mostly in time to save me from creating some problem in my life, but not always. Sometimes I get too far down the road and I know peace is going, get over here. Like I call my dog when she's got a good scent, you know, and she drops her ball and she doesn't want to come and play. And I'm staying there with the ball toss and the treat and I'm calling her and she doesn't even hear me. She's like sniffing around. Well, we do the same thing. We forget our purpose. We get caught on a tangent like a fish on a hook, you know. I do too. But that's all right. You know, I'm learning and growing. So I put peace in the middle. It's the main thing. That's the principle that I choose. It's the main thing. And so that is my intention, to live a life of peace. And so I allow myself to have that as my foundation. In order to do that, I have to steep myself in this peace. I have to spend time in it. I have to study it. I have to experience it. I can't just talk about it. Oh yeah, you know, all the books that we've read and we go check, check, check. Yeah, I believe that. I know. Oh yeah, isn't that great? We actually have to live it. We have to be peaceful. And when we are, then we can start trusting life. So the first step of the Peace First process that emerged, which I teach now all over the world, and I'm working on books and curriculum and a radio show and all kinds of things. The Peace First process begins in the center. It's the main thing. I choose peace. I put peace first. The second thing is I trust life. I nestle myself into the foundation. That golden globe sets just perfectly on this foundation that is strong and it has been around forever. And then the third step is I give thanks. Because when I've chosen peace, and I teach you how to create it. It takes about a minute. Not to create it, but to experience it. When I've chosen it and I've allowed myself to experience it, then I have the courage to trust life. Then I have the courage to give thanks and imagine what's possible. So those are the 3 steps. At the first sign of any upset, when your body is starting to tell you that you're about to react, when you want to yell, when you want to cry, when you feel stomped on, or when you feel so superior, at the first sign of disorder and upset, you take a breath, 1 breath. Wow, I was just about to scream. And then I choose peace. All right, I'm going to choose peace. And in the middle of whatever it is, I say, I need a minute. Or I'll be out in a second. I go to the bathroom. Or I turn my back and I say, I'll be right with you. And I breathe 5 to 7 times. And with each breath, I calm and center my body until actually my parasympathetic nervous system calms right down. And that fight or flight reaction is gone. And now I've accessed my brain and my wisdom and my heart again. And I can choose to trust life. When I trust life, I know that these principles work as I let them to be revealed through me. I don't have to control it. I don't have to. It's scary. We sometimes have to get out of our comfort zone. We have to change our life. We have to do something new, like what we're doing on Zoom. You know, we have to get out of the norm and be okay. I changed my life on September 11th. It's never been the same. It was a heck of a day to do it, but it's never not been there for me to show me that no matter how bad it gets, something powerful can awaken in you. And then you can imagine those possibilities. What is possible if I were peaceful? What is possible? How would my relationship with this person or that team or that neighbor or that dog or my family, how would it be? if I were peaceful, if I trusted life and wasn't trying to tell them all what to do, if I made peace with the fact that I don't rule the world, and I just let the world be itself, and I do my part, whatever that is, we each have a little piece of the puzzle. So this little funnel is just my teaching symbol for myself. And on the sides, you'll see there's 2 words. So after you articulate, you know that you're ready to choose peace, and you start practicing it, and you study and you do whatever, and you deepen your experience of life supporting you, and you've imagined those possibilities, you have to say, well, what do I do to get in my own way? What happens there? And what do I need to let go of? What do I need to release and stop thinking and saying and being and doing? And we know what those things are. They're on the tip of our tongue. They're right at the front of the brain. We know, and we've excused ourselves, and we've made excuses for them. And baloney. We just need to say, I need to stop that. Doesn't matter. You don't have to know how. God will handle that part. Our job is to be willing and clear. And then the possibility. That's called cultivation. When we cultivate those possibilities as we release them, it's like pulling the weeds out of the garden. And then on the other side, it's embrace. What do I need to begin? Thinking, saying, being, doing. Trust more. See people as they truly are. Practice kindness, self-care, gratitude, forgiveness, expect the best. One of my favorite Ernest Holmes quotes, life is abundant, expect the best, and then behave in such a way as the best becomes your experience. You see, that's the whole teaching in that one sentence. So peace first is so rich. I want to spend my life giving it away. I want to spend my life talking to anybody else who wants it half as much as I do, or even less, or more. Imagine more. People that'll, like me, like Johnny Appleseed, take it out there. I have visions of every single child is taught how to be respectful to themselves and to life and to each other, and let peace be part of their vehicle, so that they have an inner compass of knowing, and they create the world we've been dreaming about. That we support them because we stop bickering, because we have more peace in our hearts, and we see them and we realize that they're our teachers, and we figure out how to get out of the way, and a gazillion other great ideas. So my time is just about up. So I invite you to take that little chart. I'm sure that Pasha will send it to you if you write her for it. And if you want, during the announcements, I'll give you a couple places you can write, and I can send it to you. But I invite you every night before you go to sleep to take a beautiful dish or a beautiful bowl or a plate or a leaf and put it on your dresser or someplace near you, a windowsill, and make that the container that the infinite brings you something every night. And in the morning, wake up and say, imagine waking up in this wonder and knowing that, and start putting together what the universe is giving you every day. Putting it together, it's like, wow, I woke up and I can feel that my leaf is telling me to be free, to celebrate my greenness, to don't worry when the new leaf pushes me off the branch. There's a purpose at all stages of leafhood. Life is, as Uma sang, life is beautiful, life is wondrous, and life is up to us. And we can make peace on earth and heaven on earth right now. Nothing's stopping us. So I'd love to have you join the New Light Brigade, because that's what we're up to. The Lights of Peace, along with a lot of other amazing, more amazing than me, people who are doing this work. So I thank you for having me. I can't wait to go and meet you on Sunday, and thank you for caring about your life and for being part of this New Thought Center of Hawaii, being the light there in Kona. Thank you very much. It's been a blessing to share my thoughts with you this morning, this afternoon, or night.
Thank you, Barbara. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
You know, we've New Thought Center has the custom of tithing. You know, people give money to us, and then the board tithes on the donations we receive. And so we've been supporting the Temenos from time to time over a period of years. But it's just such a blessing to actually be able to have you be with us in consciousness, even though we're not physically in the same place. And when we come to the announcements fairly soon, I'll give you a chance to share the website and anything else you want with our people. But right now, I guess we are going to enjoy some offertory music from Uma, and then I will put something up. I'll screen share some information of how you can make a donation, since we can't physically pass our koa bowl the way we would if we were on our lanai at New Thought Center. But let's get Uma started on that first, and I'll mess with the screen share after. Okay, Uma, you are on.
Hi. So serendipitously, this song was written by Dr. Michael Beckwith with Ricky Byers, and I have been singing this song for probably 30 years since I lived in LA. And so, yeah, it's a powerful, powerful song. I know you will enjoy it, so here you go. And if you like to dance, it is a waltz, so you can just go to town. I thank you for being so real and touching me, letting me see what a beautiful world this world is. Well, I thank you for all that's revealed. You're changing me, open my time-blinded eyes to see my glorious possibility. Maybe it's true. Some folks can see just what's going on. They need the proof. What a beautiful world this world is. Well, I thank you Oh, and I pray for strength to keep seeing like this. Oh, that I can say yes and move out the way and give my God his full sway. Hey, oh, I thank you for being so real and changing me, opening my time-blinded eyes to see my glorious possibility. Whoa, and I pray for strength to keep seeing just like this. Oh, that I can say yes and move out the way and give my God his full sway. Hey, oh, thank you for being so real and changing me. Open my time-blinded eyes. God opens up my time-blinded eyes. God opens up my time-blinded eyes to see my glorious possibility. And I thank you.
Thank you, Uma and Michael Beckwith, and thanks to any of you that are inspired to financially support New Thought Center at this time. I realize some people are not in a situation to be able to, but if you are, wonderful, and otherwise just send us your positive thoughts and blessings, and hopefully abundance is on the way in some form. So I'm going to invite Barbara to share first about any announcements about how people can participate in her educational programs or outreach to Temenos, or just, you know, the work of peace that she was sharing with us. So would you share that with us, Barbara, and then I'll do the New Thought ones afterwards.
Thank you so much. We have a new program in Ukraine. It's registered about 2 months now. It's an NGO, and we're giving grants to it. I've helped establish it and get it up and running, but it's going to be its own entity, and I'm kind of the coach. And it's called WE, W-E, and it's called WE: Stand for the Future. And it's a youth program for young people and the adults who care for them. And it's really about creating, our main program right now is called the Season for Peace and Understanding. And it is modeled after the Season of Nonviolence, but it's tailored to the culture and the issues of Ukraine. And I just want to tell you, it's the most expansive, impactful thing that I've done in 20 years in Ukraine. And we just completed one season, and we're starting, the new season started this week. And it's a 9-week program. And in the first 9 weeks, we had 1,500 students in 26 classes and 92 teachers. And all their parents and administrators and friends. We reached over 3,000 people. And this year, it's going to be double that. And we are putting most of our focus on that. Our practitioner group has created a collective, and they are taking the organization that I first started, and they are running that as a collective. It was always our prayer that they would take it, and it would be theirs, and they'd do it their way, and they are. And so if you'd like to support our work in any way, whether it's for the practitioners or whether it's for the youth program, we're in the public school system. You can reach me at info@temenos, TEMENOS, CSL.org. And our website is temenoscsl.org. And we're just now updating our youth page to put our youth program on it. So find us, see what you like there, and join us. If you want to take a class, I'm always doing something online. And I do lots of 4-week programs. And I love online because I think it's really intimate. And we can be anywhere in the world and be sitting right together and filling each other's hearts. So I would love for you to join a class. And so there's lots coming. If you'd like to be on the newsletter list to get information about all of those things, please send me an email and I'll put you on it. Again, that's info@temenos, TEMENOSCSL.org. And you could become a Peace First responder, because everybody who joins us gets trained and deputized to take it out into the world.
Excellent.
So thank you.
Excellent. And Uma, also, could you tell us about how you have a music website, I believe. Can you tell us how we can
Sure.
get more of your music?
It's right there, umaojeda.weebly.com. And I have actually 3 agape songs written by Michael Beckwith and Ricky Byers on my CDs. It's called Uma Love Notes. So if you have any sort of, it's fun. God is enough. I love myself so much, and use me. I have wonderful versions on my CD. And there's a couple other wonderful, sweet songs there too. So check that out on iTunes. I've also been endorsed actually by Michael Beckwith for my books. So you can check out my books, Love is Crazy, Lessons in Love, and Love is Crazy, Satisfying. And what Michael Beckwith said that Uma is not merely a seeker of love, a writer about love. She is love, and that's what makes this a trustworthy guide through the labyrinth of love with its twists and turns. So it's really nice that I've known him for more than 30 years, and he's supporting a lot of the things that I'm into and been doing too. So very serendipitous today, right?
I love Michael and Ricky. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you enjoy live stream music, I play pretty much every day on these 2 streaming apps. So a lot of people get these apps on their phones. One is called Sessions, and I'm there 4 hours a week. So it's Sessions Live Music. And there's a new one that I'm on called Bigo, B-I-G-O. But you have to search and know when I'm going to be on, which is also on that website right there. So if you like live music, it's very fun. People all over the world are playing on these apps, and you can catch somebody. I was chatting with somebody in Turkey today. And it's so cool. Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Pasha. It's been a joy, as always.
If we put these 2 websites in the description section of the YouTube, then it sounds like those are sort of the gateways to all these other wonderful creative things that both of you.
Definitely.
So I'm going to screen share the New Thought announcements and go over them briefly. And then we will do our closing song. And you can see Uma's she's ready to go when we are. But let me do the New Thought announcements first, because we've got a couple of other wonderful things on the schedule.
I wanted to say something. Could I do that while this is coming up?
Sure.
Pasha said, that New Thought Center welcomes your gifts and offerings. And, the other thing is you might ask, what kind of skill do you have that they could use? You might ask, what kind of, resource do you have? What, maybe you sell something that they buy. I mean, there's 100 ways to be involved when you support an organization. Money really is essential, prayers and things. So just see if maybe you're a bookkeeper, I don't know, whatever. Just let your gift be shared and share it with them.
That is so true. Thank you for mentioning that, Barbara. And like Uma and her husband David have been so helpful in helping us learn some of the technological skills that we need to function in this new environment. And yeah, you can't, some things like that, you really can't even put a price on it. I mean, they're in some ways more valuable than money. So if you feel like you have a skill or talent that you would like to share with New Thought, please don't be shy. So here's what we've got coming up the next 3 Sundays. Charlie Thweet, who's kind of a troubadour of unity and Centers for Spiritual Living. He's a musician and minister all wrapped up in one, and has a long, wonderful friendship with our center. And he's in Connecticut, but it really doesn't matter. So the title he's given us is The Bows of Our Boats, and that will be like, just as this week, it will be a recording on YouTube, and the link will be activated at 10 a.m. on Sunday the 15th of November. The following week, it will not be on YouTube, but it will be an actual Zoom sharing service where you interact with the other people that are part of it. The subject is very close to Thanksgiving, so that was an easy choice. The theme will be gratitude, and you will just respond to the Zoom invitation, which you'll find on the New Thought website and in the newsletter. It will start at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time and last for about 90 minutes. And there won't be any recording that week, so that particular one you can be anywhere physically, but you have to zoom in at that particular time frame to be part of it. Finally, the last Sunday of November, the 29th, we will be hosting LT Smooth. He's a wonderful musician with a great heart, and his theme is forgiveness. We don't know for sure the form of that yet. It may be a live stream or it may be a YouTube recording, but stay tuned and we'll probably know by next week. We have 2 weekly classes, the Monday Yoga and Thursday Living Aloha group. Please do RSVP with the teacher before you show up, because just to be sure that it's actually happening in person. And then on the schedule, we also have a monthly class called Safe Conversations, which is facilitated by Davina Mar, 6 to 8, Tuesday, November 10th. Once again, I'm not certain whether that's in person or just Zoom this time, so check with her. You can find the contact information on the New Thought website. On the 14th, we'll be starting a dog-human class. Up to 6 pairs of dog and human that will attend on Saturday mornings, and the dogs will develop the full potential of their noses, and it'll be a very joyful time of sharing. And one dog-human pair at a time will get this very personalized assistance from Terry. Linda Tellington Jones is also going to be involved in that, if you're familiar with her work. Special announcement, we've got some office space for rent for the first time in 5 years. This space has opened up. If you're interested, call the phone number here. You are probably on the mailing list if you're with us this morning, but if not, you can do it. Just go to our New Thought website and there's a place to sign up. All right, so I think that concludes the New Thought announcements. And I will now I'll let Uma get started with the closing song, Hawaii Aloha, and then as quick as I can, I'll bring up the lyrics.
Everybody doesn't know it by now? I'm just playing. Hey Hawaii ku'uone hanawe ku'uhome kula ibine Oli no awina pono lanio Hey Hawaii aloha Hey how Poliano Pio o Hawaii ne Olie, olie, olie Ana ahe makani pamaine Mauke aloha no Hawaii Hey how Poliano Pio o Hawaii ne Olie, olie, olie Mana ahe makani pamane Mauke aloha no Hawaii Mauke aloha